So hi everyone and welcome back to the next video. In this video we're going to review some of the onboard tools that could help us with our task of graphical facilitation. So with onboard tools I'm considering in particular PowerPoint and OneNote, as I think that most of you are using the MS Office suite, and also MS Whiteboard. For the first two, the MS PowerPoint and OneNote applications, I will only take a closer look on OneNote, as both tools pretty much rely on the same concepts. So it's pretty much the same thing. So let's start and take a closer look what these onboard solutions can do for us. So let me switch over to OneNote first. And the first thing that we already see here is that in particular, I'm working a lot with OneNote, so I love to use the dark mode, and drawing in the dark mode is not that cool. So for that reason, I first need to switch from the dark mode to the light mode before I can start drawing. Let's do it like this. And now we should be able to draw. So in OneNote, basically you have the drawing tab right up here. And in this drawing tab, you have different possibilities. So the main thing here is you have several different pens. You also can create new pens. You can switch between a pencil, a pen, and a highlighter. And you can configure different pens. Like, for example, let's take the blue one. You can switch between the size of the pen, and you can change between different colors. This is well, it's a little bit a limited concept in comparison with real drawing tools, but probably for most of the scenarios it should work out. So let's take a look at the drawing capabilities. So the first thing that we see is that the drawing pen is only a round pen. So if we want to write or draw something like, I don't know, drawing with, or you already see it's very thin, so maybe it's better if we make the picture bigger, like drawing with OneNote. And it's already a little bit difficult to write, so there are no guiding lines, no helping lines. We do have something like that here. So if I go to view, then I can turn on the rules line and some grid lines. But this one, for drawing, I find it kind of disturbing. So I really don't use it that way. So we turn this off again and go back to drawing. Yeah, so for writing, we only have the flat pen. So, and if we try to do some drawing here, like we would in sketchnoting, yeah, then I'm not that happy with this pen. In particular, I think that the different pen sizes are a little, there is a little gap, I think. So I would prefer to have some other sizes. But somehow it works. Maybe it needs a little bit more practice. And now if I try to give it some highlights, some color, so I selected a blue pen and the smallest size, and let's try the shading. So the smallest size is already big, and there is a very uncomfortable angle. So you see the horizontal lines are pretty thick, the vertical lines are pretty small. So it doesn't work out exactly as I would like to have it. But basically, I think, yeah, it can work, even though it isn't my real favor. So this is the basic thing about drawing here. So yeah, it works, but it's not that comfortable as we want to have. But there are some other things that I like very much. So for example, we have different shapes, like we can use a graph, for example. If I want to highlight the graph or draw a graph, oh, it already used my pen, so I don't want to have this one. So let's delete it. I would like to have a graph, for example, with this one here. So maybe we are illustrating something like technical debt. Okay, so we have a diagram. Let's go back to drawing. We could say this is our workload, this is our time axis. And what's pretty comfortable is that we can have a ruler here with 2 pens. So for sketching some diagrams like this, I think this is a pretty nice thing. Maybe one in green, like this, whatever. This is good. What I also like very much is the functionality of ink to shape. So for example, if I want to write that this is technically that, and I would like to put it in a box, then this should realize that this is a box and automatically turn it into a shape. So this is again, this with the feature with the boxes I like. This is very comfortable. But for plain drawing, yeah, basically I would say drawing with that kind of tools it can work if you want to. So there is an option, but maybe it's for drawing capabilities, it's not really the one thing that we would like to use. But if you don't have another tool and if you're comfortable with it, it can work very well. What I also like very much is the way of structuring documents, especially if you're used to work a lot. If you work with these tools many times, then you will be pretty fine with that. So again, it can work. It's an option, but yeah, it's just an option. So this is the drawing solution with OneNote and PowerPoint. So hopefully I didn't forget anything. And now let's take a look to a different concept. Let's take a look to MS Whiteboard, something which is a very easy tool, and it can be started very fast. And there are not many obstacles that you can encounter. So let's take a closer look here. If we start MS Whiteboard, then we end up with a canvas like this. We can zoom out, we can zoom in with the touch screen. We can select between different backgrounds, depends on your favorite. Let's stay with the squares. And for drawing here, the concept of MS Whiteboard is to keep everything very simple. So we only have a limited set of pens. We can change the color of the pen with limited colors, so we are very much restricted. And we only have one pen for highlightings or for color shadings. And let's take a look how well this works for drawing. So let's assume, I don't know, get it started. Just give it a try and take a look. So yeah, just let's draw. Oh, I already turned on the ink to shape functionality. Let's take it away for a moment. So get it started, give it some color again. This is just a sign like this. Okay, this works. A sign needs to be placed in the ground. Something like that again. Okay, this is already a little bit thick, maybe a person. Okay. Yeah, more or less same thing here. I guess with a little bit of practicing, probably this is something that can work. Again, you have a limited set of pens, so this is already my smallest pen. It's pretty thick here. It can work, but basically for drawing, it's too limited for me as well. So I do not really use it for that. But I think this one is pretty good for having quick drawings during a training. So what I like very much here is same thing as we had in OneNote. So we can use our ruler here, which gives us the possibility to quickly draw some diagrams. That's very comfortable. You don't need to configure much in this tool. You just open it and it can be used, which is a good thing. Then you also have the possibility for ink to shape, as we have seen before. So if I want to create some rectangulars here, that's a very fast concept. Yeah, and these elements now are objects and I can move them around, I can scale them. And that's something that I use pretty often. So it's a way how to draw very fast. So yeah, that's a cool thing. And what I also use very often is, for example, during a meeting or when we are discussing something or we have an exercise, a group exercise, and I would like to give some remarks on the result, then I just open the picture. I just prepared one of my papers here and let's take a screenshot. There we go, of a picture. Going back to the whiteboard. And here we can simply insert the picture. Let's say insert. Sorry, Control V, that's the way. Wrong one, yeah. So I very often just use the result from an exercise, copy paste it to here, and then I can give some remarks like I can say, yeah, in this toolbox core, did you consider something like that? Not a very nice writing. We should take care of nice writing. But anyways, so basically this MS Whiteboard tool, sorry, this MS Whiteboard here is the quick solution. If you just want to draw something very quickly, doesn't need to look that good, and you didn't draft your sketches or something like that, then I think Whiteboard is something pretty comfortable. So my voice is coming to an end already, and I hope that I did show everything that I wanted to show, but it looks that way. So let's summarize it. So the Onboard tools already give us plenty of options to make some drawings. Like we have seen in OneNote, we can configure different pens. It's a little bit limited, but there is already a basic set of pens available, and we can do some drawing there. Maybe when you draw in OneNote, maybe you will use for drawing the option to show the grid lines, which gives some guidance, and then for a presentation, maybe you just turn it off. Otherwise, you get a little bit lost, but it's basically working. So OneNote is an option for drawing. In Whiteboard, you're more limited, but it's a very easy and fast tool. So you don't need to configure your pens, you don't need to anything, you just can open it and get started. And you have some supporting options like the snap to, how's it called? Snap to object? Ink to shape, it's called the ink to shape functionality, inserting a picture, drawing in the picture, and that's pretty fast. And sometimes it's also useful to share such a whiteboard, so you can use this plus sign and create a sharing link so multiple people can work in the same whiteboard if they have a touchscreen. Yeah, but basically, so let's say the Onboard tools already give us some possibilities to work. That's, I would say, sufficient. But for drawing, if you really like drawing, you will find the limitations. And if you want to have a little bit more than what's possible here, then probably it's worth to take a look at professional drawing tools, which we will do in the next video. So we can take a closer look if you really like to do sketchnoting and graphical facilitation. Yeah, and let's give it a try and take a look in the next video. See you there.